All right, guys. Welcome to another edition of Webinar Wednesday. Great to be with you guys here today. We have a great webinar today. We have a special guest actually joining us. We'll reveal that in just a few moments. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. I am Jason there on the left. And as always, we're very lucky to be joined by David Rocklin, who is the digital strategist here at Brilliant Directs and does a ton more other things as well. David, thank you for taking the time to join us and putting together arranging the special guest for today.
Hey, everybody. So glad to be back with you for webinar 205. Yeah, we got a great guest presenter today, one most of you are probably familiar with. Got a great tip from him that should be applicable to anybody, whether you've got a new BD site or an existing one. And of course, some really exciting updates to share.
Yes, definitely. A lot of fresh updates. Part of the new order here at Brilliant Directories, we are working on fast tracking some big features releases that we've wanted to do for quite some time. We are streaming on YouTube, and we highly recommend subscribing to the Brilliant Directories YouTube channel. We'll pop a link in the comments right now. You can head on over to brilliantdirectories.com/YouTube. We are streaming on YouTube live, and one of the benefits of that is the replay link. The video will be available right after the webinar, and we will post it in the Brilliant Directories Facebook group. We also invite you to join us there and head on over to brilliantdirectories.com/Facebook. Very constructive community there, lots of positive engagement. You can ask questions about your site, whether you're stuck or you have strategy questions or you want feedback from fellow membership site owners. Maybe you created a landing page or an offer page and you want to get feedback before you start advertising it. That is a perfect place to collaborate with fellow directory owners. I'm in there myself, so I do look forward to seeing you there, and we encourage everyone to join us. All right, and I'm going to plug the Brilliant Directories app here. Our new update for this should be released in the next 30 to 45 days. I'm crossing my fingers. If you have a Brilliant Directories site, just head on over to your Apple or Android app store, search for Brilliant Directories. It's a free app. Currently, you can see new members who join your site, new revenue that you receive. And what I'm excited about for the update is you'll soon be able to get real-time push notifications on the go. So if you have one site or multiple sites, new members, new payments, even if you create landing pages with forms where you're capturing leads or applications, all that stuff will get pinged to you once those updates are released. So 30 days, 60 days for the push notifications, maybe. Super excited about all that stuff. All right, and we do have a lot of new names and faces joining us for the webinar. I want to welcome everyone here. Just a little bit about Webinar Wednesdays, what we cover here. Week after week, the team here at BD is pushing new features into the platform, a lot of which are from your suggestions, your ideas, whether it's through support tickets, the Facebook group, and we take those ideas and we try to deliver as quickly as possible. And in the webinar, what we'll do is we'll cover some of those updates that are newly released, specifically ones that can help you grow your community, increase traffic, revenue, and basically help you grow your site a bit quicker. Also in the webinars, we do a Q&A session, time normally permits. So type in your questions about your site if you're stuck, and we will answer your questions. We always like to do the 2 or 3 minute challenge. If we can answer your questions, whether it's a technical question or a strategy question, there's no wrong question. Feel free to ask it. And if you'd like your microphone unmuted, I just put a banner at the top of the screen. With our webinar platform, you just have to join us at brilliantdirectories.com/stream. We'll put a link in the comments there for you guys too. Just type in question in all caps. It lets us know that you want your microphone unmuted to ask a question through the mic. All right. And with that, we do have some really amazing BD Lab updates. We do have a special guest, so I'll try to breeze through these for us. I'll start at the top of the list here. The first two, actually, in the admin dashboard, just newly released yesterday, are new charts, graphs, and metrics for you to see kind of performance of your site. And also in the admin menu, the top and side menus, there's been slight updates to link organization. So let me dive into the admin area and kind of show you what's new. So here's just a sample site we used for the webinars. So you have your 3 snapshots. This hasn't changed too much. We always provided the 3 snapshots here. What's most important and I think most valuable here is you now have a chart where you can see signups, logins, leads created, reviews created, posts created, and comments created over a period of time. So you could really gauge a pulse of your site. I don't know how much data is on this demo site, but we can do year to date, for example. And then you can switch to weekly or monthly. And you can kind of get a sense of what months or what time frames your site was performing or peaking with regards to engagement or signups. What's cool about this is you can actually remove some of the filters here. If you click on them, it's acting a little finicky right now, and I wonder why. There we go. Just a little delay there. Um, but if you click on these, you can remove them. So you can just choose the statistic that you want to look at. And this is basically a count, again, of how many signups, how many logins. What's even better is there's another drop down here for a financial analytics, which shows you revenue on your site. So payments received, refunds, upcoming payments, those would be for future dates, how many past dues and stop payments. And again, you can do it over time. Um, and you can also click and just look at one specific data point as well. On the right here is just a very simple pie chart of your membership breakdown, a summary of how many membership plans you have and how many members are in each membership plan. Also, part of our initiative, we're trying to help you guys create more on your site. So we do have a "What do you want to do today" section. And this kind of correlates to our quick create that is in the top menu here. We'll talk about that in a second. And we are going to start developing more quick create elements for you guys as well. So take a peek here. The key update here, I think, is the graphs. And this is just the beginning. We're going to add more graphs, recent reviews you can see. You can see your newest members, newest posts. So it'll be a really good command center for you. So you can log in. And then also later, I'm excited about allowing you guys to move some of these elements around so you can prioritize what you want at the top or the bottom when you log in. Now, let's talk about the top menu here and the side menu here. So in the last few weeks, we released some big updates. One being the universal search. You could basically do a quick lookup for names, emails on your site and find members, and then go to that member's record in your site, or if it's a post. Basically, again, searching names and emails is what this is for, or post names and things like that. So with these new things and the quick create as well, it started filling up this area a bit. So we moved some things around. If you remember, your website's data toggle was up here. It's now just on the side here with the same information. There also was a little hamburger icon to kind of collapse the menu. That's down here now. So you can, if you want a more slim menu, more for power users, more screen space, you can do that. And then switching to your other websites, just click the switch website button. It'll take you to your website's dashboard. And you can just toggle to different websites that you manage and get into their admin area. So those are just a few updates recently. There are more coming behind these, but hopefully this gives you guys a bit more transparency as to the activity happening on your sites. All right, I could talk about that stuff forever, so I'll keep moving on. The next one here, the AI Post Creator, we previewed this in the last webinar. It is now live for everyone. It also corresponds to the Quick Create, new workflow wizards to create things faster. Cover both of them real quick. So now everybody has in their top menu Quick Create. If you have the Easy Coupon Codes add-on, you have this fourth option here. But these are just some workflows. You can already do all this stuff in the admin, but these wizards just make it a little easier. If you're going to manually add a new member, whether your staff or colleague needs to do it, you can just click here, choose if it's an individual, and follow the steps to create that member. One thing I do want to point out, if you have your payment gateway connected, you can now create invoices, and this is actually new. You can search for a member. And prior to this, you could only subscribe members to your membership plans or subscriptions you created in the finance section. But now with this, just like a PayPal, you can actually request money from your clients or customers or members, whoever it might be, with the create invoice. It's basically one-time payments for anything you want to charge for. So this could be for SEO services, or it could be for a homepage boost, or whatever it might be, or pizza on Sunday. Maybe it's your friend that you're trying to Venmo bill through this, but you can put any custom amount in here. And then just follow the steps. You can choose if you want to capture the payment today. So if the user has a card on file and you definitely want to bill them today, you can certainly do so, or you can just create the invoice and set a future bill date here when the invoice will be due. And then again, you just follow the steps here and you can create the invoice and the invoice will be created. Now, for the other one I'm excited about, and I invite everyone to start testing and playing around with this, go to the create post. And this is a great way to create more content for your site. Again, available to everyone. First thing you do is you choose the type of post you want to create for your site. Let's just do a community article. Then you choose who the author will be. And what's really nice is it only populates it with members who have the privilege of publishing this type of post. So community article. So you can start from scratch. You can continue. Again, this is a quick wizard. So here you're just going to put a title and your content, and you can hit create. And it's already created. And you can continue editing it with this button here, and it'll take you into that member's dashboard where you can, as you would normally do, continue editing the article. But let's take a look at the AI creation real quick. So we'll create new post. Super. And we'll go to community article and really can create any type of post. It can create a short classified listing ad for you. It can create a long form article. Let's have some fun with it here. We appeal to 30 to 48-year-old males. Write an article that will definitely, excuse the spelling, get clicks. Create a top 10 best of list you need if you're in your mid 30s. Make it super, I don't know what, interesting. And then I can even say include tons of large images with captions and what have you. It'll do its best to respect your wishes. There are some settings here, the tone, the style, the minimum length you'd want the article to be, include images or not. So there are cases where you might not want it to kind of find images. And what's really cool is you can actually have a video link, a YouTube or Vimeo, and choose if you want that video at the top, middle, or bottom of the post. Really good for creating content that has videos built into it. And also, you can recommend internal links or external links that the AI will automatically add into the article. Let's just do Brilliant Directories in this case as one. And we'll say buy it now as the anchor text, and we'll open in a new window. So we'll just give that a second to process. Generally takes about 5 to 15 seconds, depending on how much you've asked it to produce. But this is available for everyone. So, if you have an Excel sheet, you can just have this thing start banging out content for you. And the convenience is it's all built into your Brilliant Directory site. So you don't really have to do too much copying and pasting. As long as you know what you want it to write about, you can do longer series of articles. You can write best of lists much quicker. You just change the city name or change the type of restaurant or whatever it might be, and you can knock out some of these articles. And then, of course, you can use it as content for social media as needed. So this should be finishing up real quick. And let us know in the comments ideas you have for us to kind of make this better. That will definitely help us as we continue developing these features. All right, let's see here. This one's taking, I admit, just a bit longer than normal, but let's give it a moment here and we'll see what it comes up with. There we go. Okay, so it came up with a title on its own. 10 must-have essentials for guys in their mid-30s. You'll want these. Hitting your mid-30s changes the game, etc. Let's see what it came up with. High-quality noise-canceling headphones. And here's the Buy It Now link that we asked it to put. And we can see if we edit it, it goes to the Brilliant Directories website. So it did follow that instruction. Automatic coffee maker, etc., etc. It's added some good images here. It finds images based on the content that the section is about. I did ask it to put large images. Here's one large image. It didn't add a caption underneath, though. Looks like it repeated this link a few times, which is fine. And let's just go ahead and publish this. And here's the cool part. So at the end, when you use the AI part, your prompt is saved here. So you can copy this and you can go back to create new post. And again, like I said, just change a few things about it. and have it create a slightly different variation of an article, again, maybe for a different city or a different cuisine or whatever your site's about. And you can rapidly create content like this. Again, also highly recommend checking the AI's work, adding your own narratives, your own links to it, something to give it your own human touch. But this should definitely give you a head start for seasoning your site with content that's relevant for your industry. All right, let's keep moving on here. I think we all get the point of that one. All right, this one is really important to note. It's about the business data. We've made an update so that when you're searching for business data, it will require more precise location matches. And I'll show you exactly what I mean. I think we have some friends in Canada. I'm going to use Greater Victoria as an example here. So let's go to the business data page. If you're not familiar with this, BD is synced to kind of some business data sources that you can use to populate your site. So if you have a dentist site, you want to add some dentist listings just so your site looks like it's been online for a while. This is a great tool for that. So let me show you what this update did. And this is actually helpful so you guys can use this tool more effectively. So let's just search for lawyer. And shout out to, I forgot the person's name, but it was from a support ticket. It helped us identify this issue. What they were searching for was Greater Victoria, which is basically in British Columbia. It's a region, right? It's comprised of multiple municipalities, multiple towns, but they were searching for Greater Victoria, and they would just type it in just like this, and the system was letting them search for records. And Greater Victoria is not actually a postal code, its own city. It's not a state or province. It's just a kind of a nickname for a greater area, as it says, Greater Victoria. So they were getting results for businesses that didn't match because the system was actually defaulting to any business in all of British Columbia. So instead, what the system will now require you to do is actually use the Google suggestions here, and you have to select an actual city or state or postal code because that's how it matches with the businesses. So if you're searching a location, don't necessarily use like regional areas or nicknames for places. Actually, type in what will be part of the business's mailing address, such as their city, postal code, county, even state, province, or even an entire country. You can search, all of Germany if you wanted to. But it has to be something that would be part of the business's actual listed address. So things like, again, Greater Victoria or nicknames for areas or neighborhoods, those are not going to yield results. And this is actually a positive thing because when you do this, you're going to ensure that you're getting matches for businesses in the locations you're searching. So that's the update here, kind of just preventing any location search errors, and it's just making this a little bit more laser focused. All right, I think we covered this next one about the page builder in a previous webinar. The team made a small update to it, so just wanted to mention it. There is revision history now in the web page builder, so if you've worked on a web page and maybe you made some saves and you want to go back to a previous version, you can do that. I'll just show you very quickly where that is. We'll go to the web page builder. And I was making some changes to this pricing page. Perfect. And we're actually going to update some of the locations here of these items, a little bit squished in. But when you start making saves, you'll start seeing revision history from dates and times of the past. So I'll just click this one. I don't remember what my changes were. And then you don't have to save. You can hit load revision and look at it. So in that case, it got rid of that line that was here. And if I want to then save that, I can, or I can go back to the current. And we can see here, this is the current one that has this here. Or again, you can load revisions from before. And if you're happy with what you're seeing in the revision and that's the version that you want, then you can proceed with hitting save changes. So a little just quality of life there. We're going to try and add this in more places like the design settings when you're editing forms and menus. Currently, we now have it in 2 places, the web page builder and also in the edit post settings area when you're editing code for different post types. So look out for more revision history things in the coming months. All right. And two things coming soon. One are live notifications while you're working on your site, on your browser. Again, as members join or you have payments or there's activity on your site, when you're in the admin area, you'll start seeing little bubbles in the corner here. You can turn them off or on or off if you like, but it will let you know as you're working on your site of live activity that is happening. So that's really cool to get a sense and pulse of what's happening on your site while you're working on your site. And again, there will be throttling settings for that. So you can choose how frequently you would want to get pinged, whether it's real time or once every hour or turned off entirely. And last but not least are the custom offers. We mentioned this before. A few weeks ago, we released the Manage Offers page, which allows you to present your members with links to other business toolkit solutions like Wix or Freshdesk, other tools like Canva, and other business tools that you can recommend to your members that most businesses or small businesses may need. Well, now what we're working on is the ability for you to easily add your own offers to those pages. I can show you a preview of what's to come. So this is kind of a rough idea of where we're headed. But if you're familiar with this page, you know that we just have 4 categories right now, and you can't add your new offers. So once this update is released, probably by the next webinar, we should have it released, hopefully in 2 weeks. There's a few things you'll be able to do. One is, and I'll scroll to the bottom, you can create a new category. So you can create a category like anything you want to call it, SEO services or visibility boost. And you could use the Brilliant Directories digital products feature to kind of create additional things your members can buy and leverage this to kind of bring it all together seamlessly. So you can create new categories. You can also order the categories. So when your members are looking at the offers in their dashboard, you can choose the order of it. And then for each category, you can also sort the order of the offers. So you can choose in each category which offer should be first or second. You can also turn them off or on. And then for each category, as I mentioned, you can add a new offer there. You just give it a name, the checkout page, the price, whatever you want to say for the offer. I think with an offer, you get to add an image, a title, and a short headline, and the link that the user can click to go purchase or go to that offer or service. So this should, again, we want to provide you guys with tools that help you generate revenue with your ideas or better service your community. And again, this one is still in the beginning stages because we just released this Manage Offers page a few weeks ago, maybe a month or so ago. But once we get our beachhead on some of these features, we'll be able to refine it and actually provide some more information on ways in future webinars on how you guys can leverage the Manage Offers page in concert with your Brilliant Directories website. So I'm excited for that. So I know that was a mouthful. If you have some questions about these, type them into the comments. We will get to them soon. With that said, we do have a special guest today, Yakin Shah from Business Labs. He's been a third-party developer on the Brilliant Directories platform, I want to say for over a decade. But David, if it's all right with you, I can pass over the reins, and Yakin has a great presentation for us on getting our first 100 members for our site and strategies to get us there.
Yeah, Yakin's joined us in a couple previous webinars. Him and his team were one of the very first third-party developers listed in our marketplace. I think it was close to a decade ago now. I think it was 7 or 8 years ago. And Yakin and his team, they've worked with probably at this point hundreds of BD users and on their website. So him and his team have really been able to identify what seems to work best for BD websites. And so that's kind of what this presentation that he put together is all about, kind of just some simple tips to really provide some best practices when it comes to launching quickly, efficiently, and what elements the website should really focus on to optimize conversions. And specifically in this case, getting the first 100 members. That way the website can really start to build momentum and continue to grow from there. So Yakin, thanks for joining us. I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you, David. And thank you, everyone who has been the part of our journey so far. So yes, it has been an exciting journey of 10 plus years with BD as official partners and a little more time as a BD site owner myself. So this webinar is just a reflection of how I've started so many websites on my own before becoming a Brilliant Directories development partner as a site owner. And what one thing clicked for me was, how can I launch a website in 2 hours record time? And the first thing comes is the homepage. And this webinar is a reflection of that how one of the good projects took less time to build. It doesn't require capital to build. It required clarity to build.
I want to say something about that, Yakin. I wholeheartedly believe with what you said, especially if you're a digital marketer. Speed to market is key. And you mentioned 2 hours, but well, being the founder of BD, I've done it in 15 minutes, actually. You spin up a homepage, spin up an about page, and then get some Google ads running to the site and see what we can do with that traffic, if we can convert it or not. Some ideas are hit or miss, but that ability to have speed in execution rather than romanticizing your idea too much and getting stuck on, again, the romantic part of the idea that you're after, which is also important, but separating the romanticism of the idea to the ability to execute quickly, we see a huge difference in success with Brilliant Directory sites with those two different methodologies. So I'm really excited about this presentation. I did check it out. So Yakin is going to spill the sauce, guys. Again, he's been a developer on the Brilliant Directories platform in our third-party marketplace for, I'm going to say, 10 plus years. So whether you have a site now and it's seasoned or you're just getting started, listen to these tips. And again, listen to the methodology of what he's trying to share about launching quickly and executing quickly. And there's also something to be said about failing fast, right? Not all ideas are going to be home runs, but if you can fail quickly, you can move on to your next idea. So Yakin, I'm going to try to keep my mouth closed a little bit here and let you do your thing.
Thank you for that. Yeah, failing fast. Nice. So what we are trying to do over here is start simple to get your first 100 members. So when I try to launch my websites, or when I try to launch any of my clients' website, I advise them, okay, we will make that Mercedes. We will make all of that. Can we build a bicycle with 5 wheels, not even 2 wheels? Can we build the handle of the bicycle? So can we get our first 100 members? So build the website only for first 100 members. Don't think anything else. Who should be your first 100 members? If you need all the plumbers in that first 100 members, then build that website, build that homepage only targeting or only focusing consumers who want to hire a plumber and nothing else. So once you reach that first 100 members, then think what's next. So start simple. So it helps you launch lean. So if you have to just get plumbers in Texas, you yourself can email 100 people for next 7 days, 700 people, and 100 people might join your website. You solo can do in 2 hours a day. So start simple. Starting simple helps you launch lean. Clarity. So when you are that clear that what you have to do for your first 100 members or next 100 members, you can design everything for them. You will have clarity. You can simplify your call to actions. Your call to actions will not require fancy titles like, are you a business owner, blah, blah, blah. Instead, are you a plumber? Join here. Finished. And the objective for the launch has to be like, we are implementing changes and building only for first 100 members. So means in whatever way we go fast. Now, some of the risks or pitfalls I have learned to avoid, and you will learn to, is I have burned, even today, even last month, I booked losses. We book losses. So we have a deadline. Might means now we have expanded our stuff, 100 different things we do for 100 different people. So whenever I am launching my own ideas to my teammates, I have a deadline. And if by deadline I'm not able to launch, I kill that idea. So booking of losses happens. So never launching because setup never feels done. That was one of the learning that we get every single month whenever we failing out on our ideas, or just we lose interest in the idea. And 99% of the entrepreneurs who never are able to succeed is because of that if they were not able to launch within a record time, over time they lose interest in that. They get distracted with 100 different things happening in their life. Getting stuck in the setup mode is equals to losing momentum. And in the early stage, if we overcomplicate things, it is actually going to confuse visitors and members. We will not get first 100 members if we do that. And that's it. We can move to the next slide. So we just have over here today in this webinar, we are trying to break down your homepage. So there are 2 screenshots of 5 different things on the right homepage, which is labeled as bloated, and one page on the left hand side, you can see, which doesn't have so many different things. And in overall this webinar, the next 10 minutes of this webinar, or the next 5 slides or next 7 slides of this webinar is all about launch lean, not tomorrow, today, next 2 hours. Launch fast, focus on one core value. That's it. So we will move to next slide. These are some of the statistics. These statistics for real, first half second or maybe a fraction of that, your customers will make a judgment. Means if their life is clear, they might stay on the website. We don't need fancy design built on React.js. We don't need anything. I have closed high value deals, the life's biggest deals I have closed on emails. People don't care to go even on my website. If I can solve in 2 paragraphs on an email, it's done. Even you don't need a website. So it's very clear that first 1 second or first half second is what average time any users will judge, not just about website, about your offering. 94% of the first impressions are based on site's design, and 75% of visitors judge a site credibility. Means these are the stats. Anyone can take screenshots. In nutshell, more features doesn't equals to more value. More clarity is equals to more trust. That means I have learned that means hundreds of times. Whenever I have not succeeded or whenever I don't succeed in any idea, it's because I or someone involved in my planning or whatsoever, we have done one core mistake: more features.
And you guys notice what Yakin said there. It's not just about the website. He's talking about emails. It could be phone calls that you guys are on. It could be in person. Basically, it comes down to your value proposition and your ability to clearly articulate a simple solution to a problem the person you're engaging with might be having. And this kind of goes back to the point of, we all heard that sell me this pen. And some people say like, oh, well, it's a pen, it writes well, and the ink lasts a long time. And those are always the wrong answers. You can watch YouTube videos on the way to answer this sell me this pen. What you do with your value proposition, and that's what sell me this pen is all about, is the value proposition. It doesn't matter if it's on the website or in an email or in a phone call. If you know your value proposition and how to present it, that helps. One, it's simple, clarity, as Yakin is mentioning, but then you can talk to people and actually convert people to real signups. So instead of sell me this pen, replace that with sell me your membership plan and why I should join. Why do I need your membership plan? And then figure out how to frame your value proposition that the vast majority of prospective people you speak to will want to say yes and want to sign up, because they either feel that they're missing out. But the key here is the clarity of that value proposition. Not you can do X, Y, and Z and 90 different features you get with your listing. Maybe once you're expanded and you're growing, but when you're first starting, everything needs to be laser focused so the communication is clear. And again, that value proposition can be digested and received in just half a second, as Yakin is pointing out here.
Correct. So this is like clarity bits complexity. This left hand side is one of my subdomain website, means staking website yet. And on that staking website, we have sent few emails, took some interest. There is a plan of $3,000 a year with 50% advance. We booked 10-15 sales. Website not launched yet. Pre-booking. That was possible because it only had 3 sections. And on the right hand side is an example of 80% of the clients, when they come to us, that I brought brilliant directories, I done all this, now what? No one is joining. So 90% of 80% of times, the right hand side is the story. And in any of the websites, when we have seen early success, majority of the times simplicity was the only thing. Means clients were successful with less capital more faster, and clients were less successful with more capital infusion. So that was in a nutshell our experience so far with all the entrepreneurs. Less capital, you will get success fast. More capital, you will build so many things no one will buy. So we will go to the next slide. So this presentation do have more 5 slides. So this is tip number 1. There are going to be 5 tips, and my favorite is tip 2 and 3. So tip 1 is one core promise, only just one core promise. Your homepage, this is for whom you are building this site. So generally when I build my website, in my homepage, I only talk about the end consumer. If my website is about plumbers, my end consumer is the citizens or the residents who are looking for the plumber. So my homepage will not talk to, are you a plumber? Means that will happen only 5% of the times, probably at the last if required. So I've given like a red cross there. Welcome to our platform for connecting professionals. Means very regular title. And instead, if we can have hire a top expert in 24 hours, verified and affordable, means that is more towards the end result that our consumer might have in mind. So we can move to the next slide if you would like to add, please.
Yeah, I would like to add, because you bring up another good point here. That's the bottom point there. Hire a top expert in 20. That is results driven. That is, as you mentioned, the end result. And there's social proof. They're verified and affordable. So and also we're giving them a verb, right? We're tasking them with what they should and what we want them to do. We want them to hire a top expert from our site, and if they can be connected within 24 hours. So again, this is results driven. We're telling them the verb that we want them to do. And it's very simple. We're not saying you can do 9 different things. We're saying, a very laser focused action here that you can do. And then probably the button under that is the one thing you can do is start that process of hiring a top expert. So
Exactly.
again, it's action oriented here.
You put
And
that thing into the people's subconscious mind right there.
Exactly.
So this was our prototype website that we are building, where people can hire fractional CTOs, people can hire fractional tech architects. So if you want to build next LinkedIn, you don't have to hire a $500,000 guy on your payroll, but you can hire a 3,000 hourly guy for 5 hours, and your LinkedIn architecture could be solved. So we are trying to do that over here in this project. So hire a top expert in 24 hours, verified and affordable. So that's it. Means this title only does this, nothing else. And that's one promise only. We are talking to the end consumer. That could be an entrepreneur or business people, the businessman or woman. And that business or person, the person who wants to hire someone, they come on the website, they only see this on the first fold, the hero section, nothing else.
Also, let's talk about your main menu here. Also super focused. I would even argue you could get rid of the home link, because, the logo is generally home. So you really have 3 links here: find, get matched, or join us if you are an expert. So again, very simple, like app-like feel. You're just pushing buttons. And when you remove clutter, you remove guesswork and confusion from the visitor experience, whether that visitor is the end consumer or a potential professional that is going to join your site. And I was going to just plug in, and I mentioned this in the previous webinar also, his homepage is geared towards the consumer finding an expert. So it's very clear what the consumer's role is. But when an expert comes to this website, they inherently understand that this website is a place where they could potentially get connected with more clients, because that is the focus of the website. They're just wondering behind their scene, how big is this company actually? And that's, again, creating trust, credibility, and making yourself appear seasoned as an organization. Those are what you can do to kind of help tip the needle and increase conversions to paid signups. So I'll pass it back over to you, Yakin.
Correct. Think Amazon. If you want to sell something on Amazon, Amazon says, you figure it out. You are a seller. You want money. So you figure it out how you will join us. So basically, if your website can give business to a seller or a service provider, it's their headache. They will figure it out how to contact you. So don't worry about how they will join. We should worry about how can we bring business for them. And once we have that business, if you ask them, you have to, walk 5 miles and then I'm going to give you a lead, they will do that if they need business. So we don't have to worry much about the other side, the supply side. We have to worry about how can we increase the demand side. So we will go to the next slide. Most directories honestly needs only 3 homepage sections. One is search, that we have already seen in the tip number 1, browse by category or service type, that we are going to see in the tip number 3, and get matched call to action, just in case if means that depends on the business. Means my directory generally is, I specialize in B2B for myself. I love B2B. So if in B2B, my demand side, the end consumers, customers are business owners or entrepreneurs. So they might have time, they might not have time. So if they have time, they will use the section number 1 and section number 2 to browse or search themselves. If they don't have time, they use my section number 3 to submit that inquiry to me. I do the matchmaking for them. So we will, there are some full statistics, and these are validated statistics, not just ChatGPT generated. So you can actually read them, take a photo of it, and we will move to the next slide in 1 minute. Target 3 to 5 categories. Even if you are building the next Angie's list, even if you are building next yellow pages, if you are starting today and if you don't have, please have these mathematics in number. You have to hire people, or you can do yourself, means you can consider yourself an employee on your day one, plus you have to hire people. If you can call 100 people a day, and if you launch with 3 or 5 categories, you can yourself do it. If you try to do more than that, if you want to launch with 50 categories, try to hire 10 people and ask them to call 100 people across 5 categories each. So if you want to go lean, always target 3 to 5 categories or service types. Means don't get into the jungle of subcategory, category, subcategory. Forget that for once. End result: plumber, electrician, whether they are subcategory, whether they are subcategory, whatever that is. But find the end service type. Pick 3 or 5 of them to whom you can say simple things that, hey, if I can give you business, would you like to join my website? That's it. Means try to choose those service types where you feel you are comfortable with. For example, I don't feel comfortable talking to doctors and selling them on a phone, so I never will pick my service types equals to dentist or equals to anything doctors in my first launch. Maybe when I grow, I will hire someone who specializes in talking to doctors. So likewise, pick your 3 or 5 subcategories or service types and personally reach out 40 or 50 provider in each of those service types. Maybe 5 or 10 will join you, and you will not get lost in the subcategory jungle. And we will go to the next slide. It is a continuation to tip 3, I guess.
Let's take a
Yeah.
pause for a second. Subcategory jungle. I've never heard that phrase, but I love that, because what
Sorry
people
for
do-
that.
I love that one, because look, we've been doing this for a long time. So a lot of people come and, okay, I want to start directory for my local city. We don't have a directory. There's a lot of businesses here. So initially what they do is they go to Yelp or Yellow Pages and they copy and paste like 500, 1,000 categories and subcategories, and they add them to their site. But the pitfall there is you have all these categories and now you've lost your focus and you have to fill all those categories. And it feels like a mountain that you'll never climb unless you're highly skilled ninja and you can work efficiently. For a regular person, that becomes a monumental and, overwhelming task. But if you focus, like what Yakin is saying, on 3 to 5 service types or categories and just excel at those, and then after you've filled those up with X number of members, you add another 5 and you grow that way, you'll actually have more control over your growth, and emotionally you'll feel better with your morale because you're actually setting yourself up for success, because these are doable tasks. As Yakin is saying, you can get 50 plumbers to join your site in a week's time with emails and phone calls or whatever you're going to use for outreach. And again, that's going to help you want to stay motivated to keep going, and then also get you more focused on the conversion game rather than tweaking the website game and playing on the website and what it looks like and things like that. So I love that subcategory jungle, because it is a pitfall that many people fall
And
into.
sometimes you will understand that when you do with 3 or 5, you will probably understand, can I remove everything and just keep one service type and build on top of that? And that means, trust me, my successful sites have been for one category, $500,000 a year, done. Means solving a problem for so many people is not equals to success all the times. Means we can't get investors overnight. Means we can't solve those problems. I personally like bootstrapping it. So when I am bootstrapping, starting very small and staying always small and making money just out of that. Yeah, of course we fail, but Jason said, if you fail fast, you can do something else once again. So
Yeah, very well.
we
This
can get
is a huge point. This slide. So just let that marinate with everyone there for a second.
So put those 3 to 5 categories in your section number 2 of your homepage. Do not use that streaming categories or streaming subcategories thing. Use custom homepage content, drag and drop builder, not dynamic but controlled. Means do it like that because it sticks your photograph. So if we can go to demo bootstrap, we can show that what that streaming looks like and what the static looks like. It's on the screenshot already.
Yeah, and I really like it because it creates that app-like feel. And when you're focused like this with, again, we'll focus on the limited categories, it's an easier sell to the professionals you're targeting. Yeah, we only focus on X, Y, and Z. only, we're experts in X, Y, and Z, not 90 or 100 different things. So you're, again, back to the value proposition, but with the clarity and focus through, just having a few categories on your site as opposed to hundreds or dozens, you actually increase and improve your value proposition because inherently it seems that you are more focused on servicing that specific niche. So very well said here.
Yeah. So we will move to the next slide. Tip 4 is the third section of your homepage should be the or can be the final section of the homepage. Offer a get matched option. Offer it as a concierge service. Don't offer it as a feature of your website. Means people will not understand that. Offer it as a concierge service. So what we do over here is get matched, and people when click on get matched, we show them that the value that when they click on this, we will talk on behalf of them with. So basically, when on this particular project, we are charging $500 to submit the get match form. Means once they submit the get match form, they have to pay a bill. Then we do the heavy lifting for them. We do that concierge service. That in our this one directory, people were finding CTOs and architects, etc. Many a times the business owner don't know whom they should hire for that problem. Should they hire CTO? Should they hire architect? Should they hire consultant? Whom should they hire? So we do that judgment for them. We talk to 5 different people whom we feel who are already verified, but whom we feel that okay, this is the team from Japan who exactly did something similar of this scale, and we are matching them to a US client. So when we do that, we charge client a fee, the end customer fee. So that makes sense that that end customer was not there to just shop prices, but was a serious guy. So when we match this lead to a service provider, that service provider for that reason pays $3,000 a year. Because even if we just give them 3 or 5 leads a year, one deal they will close and they will be 10x in the ROI. So basically offer a concierge service. Concierge service can also make you money. Not just you have to charge your service providers. You can probably make a money model out of get match. Means get matched feature. Trust me, this get matched feature itself can be $1 million revenue engine. BD don't advertise it.
We need to basically a referral matching service. So it's connecting, it's a two-sided marketplace, right? You have like Uber riders and drivers. I want to mention something else about this though. The concierge service aside, your goal as whether you're a director or matching consumers with professionals, again, you want to fail quickly, but you need to focus on capturing email addresses. Your goal as a website owner, I don't care what website you have. I don't care if you're selling shoes, you're selling SEO services, you're a blog. Your goal is to get emails 99% of the time. And when you shift your focus to how do I collect the most emails, even if you have nothing to offer them afterwards, if you just put your site online, you don't have any professionals, but you're trying to get the consumers to start filling out this get matched form, well, you need to figure out the right verbiage, the right images to use. You want to get people in there. So don't feel bad like I don't want to launch yet because I don't have the professionals. You need to start figuring out how your pages are going to convert as quickly as possible. And even if those leads go to waste the first month because you're still figuring things out, at least you're creating a page that converts. So once you get that second half of the marketplace, the professionals, now you have an ecosystem where you can feed leads to your professionals. There's consumers coming to your site, and then the whole thing will snowball from there. But really shifting to, and then it becomes obsessive because now you're looking at it day to day and you're saying, okay, we had 100 visitors come to this site. 11 of them turned into get matched leads. Okay, great. They're coming from this area, California. Let's go find plumbers in California and tell them we have leads coming in from California or whatever the case may be. But figuring out these systems as quickly as possible is the key to your success. Just one last thing here. And waiting to do it is just kind of almost like making excuses. And I know that it's hard to put yourself out there sometimes because things never seem ready, but the time to be ready is instantly, because this thing is always going to evolve. As even once you nail it, you're going to continue to work on it to make it better, to get your conversion numbers up. And that should be the real focus of any website owner.
Yes, and get matched option really helps in one thing. Tomorrow, my marketing team is going to call home. That depends on what came in my get matched form today. So it's a high conversion calls my marketing team will be doing tomorrow, because they will be saying that we have a lead. Are you taking clients? Okay, just pass on the lead. Call them 1 day or 2 days later. Did you close that? Okay, great. Can we talk some business? Okay, great. So that will convert more faster. And you don't have to call electricians tomorrow if you have a lead looking for plumber today. So you have to fill, means that's what Jason also, acclaimed already. Yeah. We will go to the next slide. Simplify navigation. And so fewer menu links you have, the faster users will act, period. Mini nav bar. So Brilliant Directories have two things: mini nav bar on the top where your logo sits. And so the entire webinar that we are doing today over here is zero customization. You can launch yourself. So it has mini nav and it has main menu, which both of these functions from Toolbox Menu Manager. So in the main menu have 3 or 5 links: home, browse, join, contact, as simple as best. Forget about, forget blog, forget resources. That you do after first 100 members are done. So the best time to launch, this line we tell to everyone, every client, every employee we hire, the best time to launch was yesterday. Means we put it in everyone's blood. The next best day is today. So don't think about what's happening. You are launching tomorrow. Means we have to be fast.
I have a perfect example for this, actually. We try to launch, when we were running our own directories, we would do things quickly. I have a real example of a site that we put up in like 20 minutes. It actually didn't turn into anything because we got distracted with other things. But to your point here, we bought a domain called Senior Care Tools. It was going to be a site where you can find senior care resources and things like that. We never actually populated with any data, but to Yakin's point about keeping the site simple, and it's so funny you said this. We didn't plan this before. This is just a site that we had online before. Good domain name, seniorcaretools.com. Fine. We didn't even get a logo. We used the BD logo maker. We got rid of everything in the header, just free resource guide, browse by categories. We didn't even have a get listed thing here yet. We just wanted to see if we can get consumer traffic. We were testing Google PPC, pay-per-click, to see how much it would cost to just get consumer traffic to the site. So we weren't even at the getting the professionals listed yet. So we were doing PPC, seeing if we can get traffic for pennies on the dollar here. Nothing on the site, just a homepage, click to browse top resources. And then on the homepage, just a really simple app feel of senior care by category. This is exactly what Yakin is talking about. I tried to strip it. There's not even a footer on this site. I stripped everything away from here. But if you came to this site and you came here, I think, let's see what happens when you browse by category. I think we uploaded some categories. Yeah, there's 100 categories here. We didn't do much with it. If we click on browse by category, it takes us here. Let's go to the homepage. I think, yeah, this is just connected to the Google search assist here. If you go to free resource guide, I think, where does this go? Yeah, we were going to create a resource guide to capture email addresses, right? So like we were going to create an ebook offer for the consumers we were driving. But to his point, you could spin up 10 of these sites real easily in different industries, figure out how to drive the traffic, figure out how to collect the email addresses, and then you can figure out how to go after the professionals to close the loop on that ecosystem, on that marketplace. So it's really interesting you're covering this topic, Yakin, because it's something that we've done before and we've done successfully before too. Again, figuring out how to put the pieces together, not the website together.
And whenever you are able to launch in record time, so see, when we are launching as an entrepreneur ourselves, we do that speed. But when we are talking and doing a client relationship, generally it doesn't happen in 1 hour, 2 hours, because exactly that time no one will be available. But still, then think about, if with our clients also we try to do that, means okay, can we launch this in 1 month, 1.5 months max? Launch it fast and do everything on your, take one more Brilliant Directories license, build all your bells and whistles in that, build all your 100 different dreams on that, build two dreams every month and keep on launching. So for example, take a brilliant example of Brilliant Directories themselves. They might have 100 different things in their pipeline to develop. They don't stop Brilliant Directories. They probably would have the pipeline for 2025. Brilliant Directories team has a pipeline for 2026. They will not launch all at once. Means 1 or 2 things launch every month. So this is how you consider yourself a company similar to Brilliant Directories, and launch fast, build later.
I'm going to share this link in the chat here. Just again, it's just a symbol of the methodology of kind of stripping things away and going to the bare bones of an offering. So I shared that in the chat there, but let's continue here. Same thing here. Like you stripped everything away.
Yeah, so that was Brilliant Directories default, and this is my using Brilliant Directories default, nothing else.
I think the point is clear. Very good. Yes.
Yeah. So just wrapping it up, always start lean. If you can start today, just do it. Try to design for clarity. Means clean things, focus on the experience, prioritize your CTAs, the title. The CTAs is not just always the button, it's also the title. So title and the button. Limited categories, clear taglines, and simplifying navigation. Now this is for first 100 members. Now once that problem is solved, the next problem might be 1000. That time a new problem we can think of. You can think of newly, means you can think once again what's next. But for first 100 members, don't think anything else. Just for first 100 members.
I love that. And again, the methodology is, again, you're creating a chain, right? So you spin the website up. And again, we're talking about power users a little bit. We know that not every idea is just kind of like do it
Yeah.
quickly. Some require, their existing brands, they have to follow certain practices. But just thinking from a power user perspective, you get the website online. All right, website's online. Step one, can you get traffic to the site? Whether it's through ads or social media, great. Traffic's coming to the site now, and you're doing it affordably. Step two, can you collect emails from that traffic? Okay, great. Now you're not collecting emails. You got to tweak. You're getting the traffic. Now you have to tweak your messaging. Your value proposition is not there. People are leaving. So your messaging is not connecting. Okay, now you're collecting email addresses. Okay, great. Now we're collecting email addresses. Can we engage these people? Now can we convert them to paid plans? So again, think of that chain rather than just the website is the final product. The whole ecosystem of your business is the final product. And if you can figure out models that work for you, or routines or strategies, then you can replicate it. You can be agnostic to the niche or the industry that you're trying to serve, and then you can go after multiple niches at the same time. And again, the directory might not be for paid plans always. A lot of people use it for lead gen. A lot of agencies use directories to get business clients so they can sell their business services to them. The directory is just a foot in the door for that thing. So it's not always about the paid membership, but it's about getting connected or connecting people together. So I'll leave it there. Any final things you want to mention here, Yakin?
No, that's it. One more special in the last thing that we didn't add in this slide is, when you launch with clarity, one thing at a time, and when it's not working, you flip that, you do something else. But again, one thing at a time, that time as well, you will actually understand what worked. And if you have 5 different things on the same, means you're doing 5 different things, what worked, people don't understand. We can't understand what worked. So everything worked or nothing worked, only one thing worked. So that's the mantra. So if anyone wish me and or my team can do your free homepage review, absolutely free, no strings attached, you can just take the photograph of this slide and reach out to us. We will be happy to do 50 or 100 homepage reviews. Probably I have a team waiting for doing that for you.
Fantastic. We'll share a link in the comments, Yakin. Thank you for joining us. And, really, Yakin put together these slides and then we kind of crafted it together. So I appreciate you joining us and sharing your experience with us, Yakin.
Thank you. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, everyone.
Great. And what we can do is we'll switch on over to the Q&A. If you don't mind hanging on, Yakin, maybe someone might have a question for you, but let me just go to our questions here and we'll try to go through a few of these. Let's see here. Will saying question, I'm willing to receive. Oh, okay. So Will, if you want to reach out to Yakin, memorialconnect.com, you can reach out to Yakin, but we can do a quick review of your site as well. Let's go to, so it's Memorial Connect, honoring lives, connecting hearts. Okay. Find the perfect musician to honor your loved one's memory. That resonates with me, with what this is.
The advertisement of the section number 2 is hijacking your traffic. So the hide below hero page, that ad is a bad experience. Means don't have any third party hijack your website.
For me, what I think, Will, let me remove your comment from the screen. On this website, for what you're advertising, I would do just, I would start with this. Let's go to senior care. I would just have 2 buttons, search for musicians, or are you a musician, get registered. So there's just 2 pathways in the hero, no search. And at the bottom, in like we have for the senior care tools, for me, it felt like, what type of ceremony do I need a musician for? And those should be the categories. Are we doing, it's a little sad sometimes, but are we doing a memorial? Are we doing a funeral? Are we doing something, whatever the things are? But it seems like based on the occasion is how or the type of music that you're looking for, right? Are you looking for a singer? Are you looking for a violinist or whatever it might be? So again, having just a few, and you don't have to use the dynamic tools, as Yakin was saying, use the custom content and just put 3 or 4 squares in a row with the image and the name of it. So it has that app-like feel.
Yeah,
I
and
like
the
saying that.
beauty is in the dynamic. If you go with dynamic and something changes in your mind, you have to make singular, plural, or something. You have to hire a developer. But if you use custom content, you are sending the traffic to musicians, and you would like to name it something else in the front end. You can do all that without hiring a developer. That's why custom content is like you can do it.
Right. And also, you have a mix here of catering to the consumer who needs a musician and then the musicians who should join your site. The search here is for people searching for musicians, but everything else is for joining the site. Join today, advertise with us, membership pricing, why join. It's all geared towards the musician as opposed to giving the consumer the attention. And you can have a section that says, "Are you a musician? Join our site." But I think that that's overpowering this a bit. And then vetted members, I understand that they're the musicians to search for, but from a consumer, I'm just looking for a musician. So this should maybe say something like browse musician directory or
Or
something that's
featured musicians.
featured musicians, vetted
Yeah,
member, using the word members for a site that where you're supposed to find musicians.
musicians.
Yeah, members feels like it's a club or something, and I'm not here to join a club. I'm here to find a musician. So just some quick tips for you there. I think the niche is wonderful. And let's just hit the search button here. And you have some members here. I think also for your site, you might want to start in grid view. A site like this is, again, more not in every site you want to start in grid view. There are definitely cases where you want to stay in list view or map view, but a site like this, I would recommend grid view. And because it makes their faces a little bigger and you're choosing a person, right? So that's one of the benefits of the grid view here. We see that we're seeing more bigger faces and images. So think of the site like an app-like feel. You just want people to click buttons and navigate in until they find what they're looking for. This is just a little bit disjointed. I love the niche of the site, but those are just some tips for you. So hopefully that was helpful for you, Will. All right, let's go to another question here. Anders says, greetings from Thailand. I've been a bit overwhelmed with getting started and adding members and building pages. Understandable. In the beginning, I just want to add businesses without anyone having to sign up. That's great. I think, again, when I launch a site, a directory site, for me, I just want it to look like it's been online for 10 years. It has a good, clean homepage, a killer about mission page about what we do, and simple way to sign up, and also populating it with some listings or some content, usually some blog articles that support the site's focus, and just leaving it at that. If you can do that, again, I always speak from a power user perspective. If you can do that across 3 or 5 niches, and again, not romanticize only one idea that you might have, probably have more success, because when you put all your eggs in one basket with one idea, even though that you're going after a concept like a directory site, you can execute that in multiple niches if you stay focused and don't romanticize the one idea that you might have. Again, one idea you have might have merit and be good, but it might not actually pick up or get traction because of market dynamics or whatever the case may be. So set yourself up with several ideas. If you're going to do this, Anders, do it in 2, 3, or 4 sites. Again, you can do it quickly and you have the right mindset here. Just set up the site for yourself and make it look good. And then you can focus on driving consumers and professionals, etc. All right, Kelly is asking, hi, do we have a directory of users? I'm interested in viewing what BD users have configured, having not created my site yet. Kelly, let me refer you to the Brilliant Directories Facebook group. I'm going to put a link here. And there are, if you scroll through this, from time to time, people say, can people share their site? I'm looking for inspiration. And then, 20, 30, 40 people will comment. So you can come to the Facebook group and you can kind of see what people are talking about. And you can also ask a question there. and you can see other people's sites and how they're working on it.
Jason, if I can answer that one part of looking on someone's site, please understand this. Means if you have yourself find out a niche that worked great, build $500,000, you probably will not share that link. 90% of the successful sites, once they become successful, they will not share their site. And if you get that, you will not get that journey. Now, copying someone and doing something, you copy the business model, you build next Uber. But what you want to build, if we as an entrepreneur you can't do it, maybe hire a professional or anyone whom you can trust. So hire someone whom you can trust, uh, but do it as a practice, means practice that. Seeing someone's side, generally I've seen people see someone's side, people fail, and now they don't have anyone to talk to because they copied someone.
Yeah, I'm looking here in the Facebook group. Someone was asking to share a very specific type of site. They said, does anyone have a directory for breeding cattle that they can share? I mean, we've seen all the ideas here at BD, but some ideas are just so specific and niche. And again, it's not the niche that will be successful or not. Is can you execute the model, effectively? It's you're connecting to people, and also, is there a volume in the market? Are there people on both sides to make it a sustainable business venture? So that's one thing. But even small markets can be successful because, again, you're focused in that market, and they may even be more receptive. You'll be a big fish in a small pond as opposed to a larger pond. So there are benefits to that. But again, it's not the specific niche. It's can you execute the model? Because then you can repeat it over and over again. And the niche, again, you can be agnostic to the focus of the site and just focus on doing the model. All right, let's see here. Good friend Rich here. For a two-sided marketplace, how do you explain the value proposition to both people without confusing the CTA? So when you're trying to sign up two different types of members, and I know Rich has Podcasters Directory, he's signing up both people who have podcasts and I believe people who want to be guests on podcasts. So those are two different navigational paths to take people down. But really, if we go back to the app-like feel, we give people a red pill or a blue pill. Welcome to this site that connects podcasters and guests together. That's our only focus. And I think you do it well, Rich, and you just take them down that path and that journey on those two different sides. So on the homepage, there's two different buttons. I'm a guest and want to be on podcast. I'm a podcaster and want guests. And then they go to their respective pricing pages and et cetera, et cetera. Doesn't have to be very complicated, but they can go down the two paths. When you start mixing the two on the same pricing page, that might start confusing them. I would have dedicated paths for each sign up, and as opposed to conflating them on the same pricing page. That would be my suggestion there. All right, we got one more question here from Anders. I was set on adding a lot of content first and then monetize it later. Is that not an okay approach? Again, the goal here is to help your site appear seasoned, Anders, and obviously adding some content so it looks seasoned. Add 20 blog posts. You can use the AI tool to do it quickly now. You don't really need all that, but as long as the site feels seasoned and credible, that should be enough to start going out and monetizing it or take the next step to introduce it to real people. So yeah, just focus on being seasoned. And I'm going to share one thing with you, Anders, because this was a good one. Let me go to the Brilliant Directories blog. David and I did a tip of the week on how to help your new site appear credible. So 25 stats you can showcase to boost credibility. And there are some in here for brand new sites that actually have no stats and some things you can lean on and focus on. I recommend everyone watch this one. So even if you have a seasoned site or you're brand new, again, the goal is the perception of your brand, and that's going to encourage people to either leave your site or want to learn more about your services and products. All right. Well, with that, guys, Yakin, thank you again for joining us on this webinar. David, thank you for coordinating to get Yakin on with us. Just as a reminder here, guys, you can reach out to Yakin if you want a free homepage review. He's a super nice guy. You can go to bdgrowthsuite.com or businesslabs.org. I think both are ways to connect with him. We put the link in the comments there. And this was a fabulous webinar. Appreciate everyone for joining. Let's just quickly recap here. Lots of lab updates. Take advantage of the AI my post creator, Anders, and everyone else watching. More updates are on the way. Download the BD app. Updates are coming soon. The replay will be posted in the Facebook group. So you can go to brilliantdirectories.com/Facebook. That will redirect you to the Facebook page. And thank you for those who joined us and asked questions from our YouTube Live. The next webinar will be in 2 weeks. Is that going to keep us in the month of August? Yes, that will be the 27th of August. Thank you guys for an amazing webinar. Thank you, Yakin, for joining us. Next webinar is in 2 weeks. We look forward to seeing you then. And it was great to be with you guys. Thank you for all your questions. Have a great day and a brilliant week. Cheers.